Concert's beginning. This song is called Yellowstone. It's dedicated to whatever, man. Got you. Alright. It's happening. Yellowstone. So, there's kind of too much. I didn't review any of this stuff, by the way, and it's been a while. I haven't seen these photos. I was moving some photos around on my hard drive. I was like, alright, fuck it, I'll do it. So I basically got a job that's not... Is it recording? I basically got a job that's not photo related, and it tripped me out because I've been doing photography for a bunch of years. I think 8, maybe 9, who knows. But with school, but you know, the past like 4-ish years, I don't know, since I got out of school. I don't even know, 2000, well, 7, what? No, 12, 5. So, past 5 years, I haven't had a job that wasn't photo related, and like, so now I have a job that's not photo related, and part of it, I feel like, you know, not necessarily like I'm giving up, but there's that little, it kind of feels like, you're like, oh, I don't have a photo job. So it's like I'm giving in, but you know, I don't know. I think a few things, there's a lot of things actually that I look to, but one was someone was telling a story about Prince, and yeah, I'm no Prince or anything, but basically he was a janitor, you know, so he could get studio time. And like I said, I'm no Prince, but you know, I kind of see it in that way, where you know, he worked, or like, you know, people do it all the time. They worked so they could do the other thing they like better. But so yeah, I think it'll be good. I'll have some extra cash. I think that's kind of the main reason I'm picking up this job, is for the money, extra money. And then hopefully I can still pick up photo work and all that stuff. But Yellowstone, so I'm doing this because I'm trying to just do more photo related stuff. Like I said, I got a job not in photography, so I could freely do stuff in photography. If that makes any sense. But yeah, cause I haven't been doing any photo stuff lately, I'm gonna do this. So this is Yellowstone through the camera. Whoa. Through the what camera? Oh no, don't X out. This is Yellowstone through what is it? Through the Olympus XA2. I should have it. I don't have it. But so we went to a trip through Yellowstone, Glacier, Tetons, Craters of the Moon, this place, Sawtooth Club. But yeah, it was Yellowstone. It was for my uncle's 70th birthday. My cousin invited me to go along, and yeah, it was pretty cool. It was amazing. A lot of trippy stuff. I think we talked about it in length, and I do have some audio recordings that I still haven't gone through. But yeah, stuff I recorded, and we talked about just like I haven't seen my uncle in a long, or I only see him like a couple times a year during you know, family parties and stuff. But being with him for 2 weeks kind of like opened my eyes and my cousin's eyes to, like, you know, just growing old and stuff like that. And like, you know, so it was good to spend that time with him. It was good to spend that time with my cousin. But this is all, I don't think I'm gonna necessarily go over all that trip stuff. This is kind of just through the film camera. Um, Sorry. So yeah, this is just like stuff I shot with the film camera and kind of like, um, yeah, I think during the trip I liked shooting with it the most. It was the smallest camera I brought, and it was the camera I got the most variety of stuff with. Um, it was kind of hard to shoot people, like with my big camera and like lugging it around and like hearing the shutter like clack 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 every time I would take photos, and I could get like right in front of these people and shoot the little camera and they wouldn't even notice. Like these people wouldn't even notice, and there was a lot of people there, so it was definitely good people watching, and like people like the things we were doing. Like I said, it was for my uncle's 70th birthday, so we were able to do like a lot of the nice touristy things, and it was good. It was good to see all that stuff and do all that stuff. And yeah, again, like I don't know how much I'm gonna go on about the trip. I guess it'll just be more. Well, I have no plan actually. Like I said, I was just trying to transfer files, and this came up. So this is the beginning of us leaving. Yeah, I don't know actually what I'm gonna talk about. I think that was all I said. What all I said. It was the best camera to use, even on the backpacking part, and because it was the cheapest camera I had. I wasn't gonna bring my expensive camera on the canoe trip, so I'm glad that I had the cheap camera, and it still came up with some really good stuff that I liked, that I like. But yeah, I think that's the benefits. The benefits for sure is being able to get like out in front of people, and with a little camera and them not even notice. I think towards the end, I was talking to more people and say, hey, let me take your photo. This is Katrina, KK Hurricane on what's it called? Instagram. Uh, this was after the trip. After. Here's a better picture of her. Here she is. Oh, computer's working slow. But yeah, I think, man, this is a decent camera. Like even like this portrait, it's pretty nice. Nice quality. Um, so one thing with scanning, it doesn't really scan like in order. So I scanned all the rolls in order, but within the rolls of film, they're not in order. But this is like the first day I had. So this is all Velvia 100 on the Olympus XA2. But I had some stuff from my old job, some kids from the high schools. Oh, what a baby. So big. This kid was my helper. Kids. I thought this was. I think I could edit this better, but. Oh, what the fuck? No. Oh, I get distracted. But yeah, I haven't really seen these photos in a while. So this was the one Mamiya 7 scans I did. This hiker, I forgot her name. We're friends on Facebook. More of the road with her dog. The KOA and fuck. See, I should have researched all this. This was after Yellowstone in Montana. Road, not something, and Townsend, Montana, KOA. We stayed in a cabin that night. But she was biking or traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast. I last checked her update. She's about to be in Ohio, and when we saw her, she was in Montana. And that was like, whatever, months ago. It's November or something. And we went on this trip in, September? It's been a couple months. But yeah, this is like, because we talked for a little while and she was like an interesting person. This was one of the only times I felt like bringing out the Mamiya 7, and like taking like, good, something decent, or trying to make something decent. And it came out okay. I think this one's okay. This is good to me. It's kind of plain. And then this is kind of crappy, but it's crappy because she's kind of just backed up into this busy background. It'd be maybe a little bit better if there's more separation. If she was standing like way up here and focused up here and all this was kind of blurred out more, it kind of would have made her stand out more. But she's kind of like in the scene, in it, and like posing. So if she was back here like prepping her bike or doing stuff back here, like it would make more sense. But if it was a straight portrait, it would be better if it was like this, where she kind of is the center, more focused, and then the background kind of blurs out. I think this is okay. But yeah, I think with this shot, she needs to be up closer. But yeah, I was trying to get her near her bike, and it just didn't work out. So if her and her bike was all the way up here, it might have been a little bit better. But yeah, this KOA was nice. Had a lot of stuff on the walls and stuff like that. And then, so this kind of was left on the roll from the other job. I think I just talked about that. These kids like dress up for their picture day, and I thought, it's funny. Good time to bust out the camera. Anyways, so this was the start. Like the rolls of film are scanned in the right order, but each of the photos aren't. Yeah, so going into the trip, I didn't really plan photo stuff. I knew I just wanted to bring my cameras, shoot. The only things I kind of broke down was I would shoot all Velvia 35mm film. I think I still have a bunch of Portra. Maybe not. But I had a bunch of Portra film that I didn't use for the Mamiya 7 that I didn't use. And I was mostly going to shoot that and my digital. And if anything cool came up, I would bring out the Mamiya 7, or like anything like, really, really important. I'd bring out the Mamiya 7. That only happened like a couple times, and one of them was that girl. And then I was basically shooting everything on digital and this camera. So this is all the film, the 35mm film on a small camera. Yeah, and in the beginning I didn't necessarily know what I was doing, just kind of documenting the trip, really. Nothing specific. I didn't have like photo ideas. I didn't have anything specific I wanted to look for, or like anything. And it just kind of developed, I think, how it normally develops for me. Meaning I'm not a nature, well, I'm not a landscape photographer. I like shooting people and I guess making portraits and doing stuff like that, and that's kind of what it turned out to be in the end. A lot of pictures of my uncle and cousin, uh, and a lot of pictures of people. Or nah, towards the end, it was like I can't. One, it's like discouraging, man. One, we weren't stopping, or like we were stopping, but we weren't. I wasn't getting up like early in the morning to shoot sunrise and all that stuff, and like, the time we were seeing stuff all day. So when we were stopping, it wasn't necessarily best lighting or like, there's people around, and then, and yeah, I kind of gravitate towards people. I don't know. But yeah, even then, like, I don't know. There's, I think on the last, or not the last one, but like older podcasts where I would talk about walking like a quarter mile in like 30 minutes to take like 10 photos, or like, just spend. Yeah, we weren't really doing that, and like I didn't yeah necessarily want to do it. That's why I had the small camera. That's why I could be mobile with it, and that's why I didn't really bring out the Mamiya 7 and like, take my time and shoot stuff like that. Yeah, so it kind of just developed. Like I said, I didn't have any specific theme or photo story I wanted to do. It was kind of just documenting, and then it turned into photographing people. Yeah, and then cause I was using the this camera, like, it's not. I mean, it's cool, and it's what is it? It's not like a landscape, super detailed camera. It's kind of like, it's point and shoot. The quality, is as good as a digital camera, as a full frame digital camera. But that's kind of it. I like this one. I want to print this. So let's start. Now we're starting. So like I said, the scans aren't the same, aren't in order. They're not in order. This is a school near near Vernon, near my old job. I was the only one parked in here. I wasn't supposed to park in there. So this is the first stop. There's a few of these photos, right? No, just those two. So I actually had to like sit the camera on this sign to kind of get because it was super dark and there was like a long exposure. So I sat the camera, I put the camera down on a sign and like ran the timer. Or like I think I just held it there, but not that clear. Nevada, again, shooting from the car. Too dark, blurry. It's the beginning of the trip. Look at his glasses. These are the girl glasses he found that he like kept, but then that lasted like 2 minutes because he ended up buying a pair. It lasted 2 days because he bought it like a brand new pair of sunglasses on the, like, yeah, 2 days in Wyoming? In Wyoming? No, in Idaho. Yeah, this was probably one of our first stops, right? We were just mashing. Oh yeah, I remember we were coming out of here and like we were watching the McGregor Mayweather fight the whole time in the car, and like I didn't want to get outside because it was still playing. First stop, first night, KOA, the truck, too dark, but I tried. It's a bunch of pictures though for first stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. 6 shots. like nothing came out. It's too dark. Just traveling. I like this one because the text, and then the what is this called? The irony of the text. Litter, and then litter. This is a trash can. Put it in the trash can. Litter. But this shot trips me out because it's very busy, but like there's layers, not layers, but levels. It's just like crap in it in every like part of this photo to me. But it's not really a good photo, but because none of it like goes. But I don't know. It's just a lot of shit to see and a lot of different colors, greens and oranges, yellows. I think this is good. I think this is okay. While I'm driving, shooting while I'm driving. All right. So when you shoot Velvia, the main thing is, or not the main thing, but one trait of the film is blues come out way saturated and looks good to me. I like it. That's why I like shooting it out in the middle of the day, because it really makes the blues like, fucking crazy. So this sign, like, this is no editing. It just looks like vivid and real, or too real. But it's kind of preference, and yeah, I think it works. I think it works for nature, or like just shooting outdoor stuff, because it's so blue skies all the time. What the camera is not good for. This is a tricky situation when you shoot a shaded side of the building, and then there's parts of it that's not shaded. So definitely red for this, and made like a longer exposure than it had to be. Where I was shooting from the car, so I didn't take time to adjust. But yeah, that's one good thing about the camera, though. It's point and shoot. Look, Shoshone. It's all coming back to me now. Same problem here. Point and shoot, not really. The light meters kind of got tricked. Shooting this dark side of the building with the sun on that side. Tricky light situation. Yeah, mess that up. It's not my fault. It's actually the first photo. That's all that is. So the KOA and Winnemucca. It was a nice sunrise, and I thought that was gonna be a theme. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get up every sunrise and shoot something. That didn't happen. Let's go. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones of the sunrise. I actually like this darker sky with this lighter bench. So that's kind of the same, but you can see I had a little, I wasn't shooting from the car, so I kind of had time. Not time, but I made an adjustment. But even with the situation being nice, it's still a hard thing to photograph. Like bright sky and then like dark foreground. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, it's a tricky thing to shoot. Sunrise, waking up at craters, I go shaving. This is a little documentary life. It's how we were living out of a truck for 2 years, or 2 weeks, out of the truck for 2 weeks. Man, we were loaded. It was so loaded. Yeah, I wasn't that impressed in the beginning. Craters of the Moon. It was nice, but I just woke up from a nap and saw this and looked out and was like, eh. But yeah, the exploring here was cool. I think it was a good photo. It looks a little bright, but this is like, I don't know if I need to crop it different, but what the fuck. But this is like a not a conventional like leading line. It's kind of weird. But yeah, this photo based on this should be cropped like this. Yeah, because it goes straight out, but it's not like, it's not, yeah, it's just weird. But I think that's why it works for me. Yeah, it doesn't really fit any of the composition rules or anything like that. What is going on? Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's not symmetrical. It doesn't like really lead you to the right area. I think it's more that moment of just them two walking. There you go. Doing a little bit better. So every time we pass through these small towns, I would want to like drive through the main, because all the small towns were the same. Like it was like an intersection or like a junction for the freeway, for the highways to like, you know, turn or go through. And they all had like this one main street, and it like it was all like broken down. All these towns were just desolate and like nothing there, and they had the one street, the like one main street, you know, with like everything. It was like all built up. You could tell it was all built up like, you know, 20, 30 years ago. 10 years ago, I don't know. But I actually yelped this Sawtooth Club, and there's actually in the same state, but like I think in Boise. Is this Idaho? I think this is Idaho. And in the major city, there's a Sawtooth Club that's like actual business, and it's not this place, but they like ripped off the whole name and idea of it, probably, because this is all, probably the original. But yeah, that was cool, interesting that all the towns were like broke down. Had one main street that was all broke down, and yeah, every time we went through, I was like, yeah, let's go through, try to go through. I think these are called buttes, right? Aren't these buttes? But yeah, I was driving and I actually passed this intersection and turned around here and parked the car to take this photo. This is one of the times like I'd stop to shoot something I liked. It was just a trip, man. The road's straight. Through the whole trip, man, there was a lot of different roads and a lot of like open, big sky. Like, I remember first getting into Idaho and like seeing all the farmlands and like the maybe potato or grass or whatever the hell they were growing. Then a lot of like stuff like this with nothing, different parts. It just trip. The roads were a trip, man. So long. Alright, first morning, and see, it's not in order. Wait, what? I scanned that twice. Alright. What is this? Oh, this is craters. Morning at craters of the moon. First morning in Yellowstone. I edited some of these a while ago. Just saturated it a little bit more. Why is the computer so slow? I don't like it. But yeah, you can see a difference. Yeah, some of this stuff was really nice. I think I was saying earlier, that's another thing. I can't, nature photography, it's like I can't capture like how amazing this was, or how the colors were, or like how it smelled, and like how it made you feel and all that shit. And then with the smaller point and shoot camera, you know, it doesn't capture like detail, so like it's still there. I mean, you know, the, what is it, the essence of the moment. Yeah, it still gives it a different, you know, a look or a style with shooting the film and point and shoot. But like, that's another reason I don't necessarily like landscape photography, because I want to shoot like some way, you know, 4x5 or like some super dope camera stuff, some like crazy cameras that capture everything. So story behind this is they used to party up here until there was an earthquake, and then they closed it down. Old Faithful morning. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, I'm not gonna really talk about what we did. We're just going through the park. This part is not the brink, artist point, Yellowstone Falls. Like I was saying earlier, just using that camera. Oh yeah, it's Under Armour. I didn't know they made shirts like that. Cowboy edition. Yeah, with the small camera, you know, it's less intimidating to people and lets you get up in their face. Some more shooting from the road. The first buffalo we saw. The first of hundreds. I think we saw thousands. No, 1, 2, 3. I remember counting, and there was like 300 to 400 in that one section. So yeah, maybe thousands. This is a cool lunch spot we had in this meadow looking thing. It was nice. It was next to the road, but it was still nice. And it was on and off. Well, it like rained, but it was hot. Yeah, Yellowstone. I've said this before. Yellowstone. Something amazing, and then a gang of people standing in front of it. But you definitely gotta fight crowds. Why does it? Didn't I just show these? Oh, I had to rescan. I think that's set because there was some setting that on the thing you could see this. Well, I'm not gonna go through it. It's a little bit blurry, but it's a setting that I didn't have on that I used. Colors at this place was cool. So these are all like mostly unedited photos, and like the colors were like really nice. Colors on this colors on the film. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't have. This guy kind of messed up my photo. I was trying to get these two old people here alone. But yeah, this section, there's like always millions of people here, and they kind of just broke out, and it was like them two, and then missed the shot. It's pretty good, huh? Yeah. I I think just being in there, I didn't realize how like crazy big this place was. This place was so big. It's like having a fucking sequoia over here and like other shit over here. The way I explained it to my brother is like, so it's a big figure eight, but like at every corner there was like a mini like sequoia like park, you know. And it was like a fucking camping theme park, and like at every corner there was like some huge like thing to see, you know. So there was a glacier section, you know, like the lake section, waterfall section. What are those called? The not hot springs, but like geyser section, just like buffalo section, just like at every corner, and it was all like that section is like as big as Sequoia, maybe even bigger than Sequoia. Some of them were bigger than Sequoia, and there was just like 4 or 5 different huge things to see there. And that's how kind of I viewed it as, or like experienced it as. It was just huge and like so much shit to go through. There you go. Oh, this is a bad photo, by the way, because the brink is here and it's not even in the photo. And this is not even in the photo. This is right behind him, to the left. Yeah, I suck at photography. Yeah, basically so far what I've been seeing, these are all photos that every other tourist has out there on their iPhone. Everyone has these shots. And I think that's one of the things with the trip, or you know, the beauty of the trip. It wasn't like it was fun, even though like we did touristy stuff. It was fun. It was good to have like a road trip like that, a nice car camp touristy trip. I didn't necessarily worry about photography too much. Oh, Tetons. Our day at the Tetons. I've been wearing the same thing. We've been wearing the same thing. I wore this like the whole time, like for like almost the whole 2 weeks. That same sweater, different shirt. So yeah, I did bust out the Mamiya 7. I haven't actually done those scans yet, but how long has this video been? I can't tell. But I busted out the Mamiya 7 to shoot the Tetons, so hopefully that comes out good. This is where we fished. Yeah, this fishing here was tight. It's hard to say. I wouldn't catch anything. So one thing that does suck with this camera is once it starts to get dark, like, I can't really shoot. It's ISO 100, and it doesn't do well at night, or like even dark areas. Yeah, I think there's like a good mix of like documentary stuff from our trip and like random like okay landscapes, but for the most part, there's like not a, it's not, nothing's like cohesive to where it like actually goes together. The only thing that goes together really is, damn, how'd I cut off the top of those? Damn it. It's not like, well, I guess it's kind of cohesive. It's Yellowstone, that's the cohesive part, but but yeah, I definitely at this point like, from what I've looked at, I like more of the documentary stuff that I did, not necessarily these landscape stuff I try to do with this camera. I think for sure I got better landscape stuff on the digital for sure. It's just more detailed, and yeah, I was just able to do a little bit more. But I think, oh shit, I think, oh look, here's a teardrop. See that? I could notice that a teardrop. Yeah, so far that's what I'm noticing. So this is one photo I really like, because yeah, the kids like having a moment. She's looking. This is not that clear, but one thing I want to do to this photo is Photoshop the hell out of it and take off this whole side tree shit. Take all that off. I actually want to Photoshop the grandma out, and so just be the two kids, just like she's looking like, "What's up, bitch?" And then move this boat like somewhere in the middle. And yeah, it's filmed and blah blah blah, and I don't like, film aesthetic, blah blah blah. But no, I'm gonna Photoshop the fuck out of this. Move this branch. Fucking. I think it'll be better. Tetons, lunch here. So we had lunch in the meadow maybe a couple days before, and we had lunch here. This time, this was even nicer than the meadow. I don't know what this is. It's trying to be so artsy. But this is kind of like the landscape, though, where we were at, or everywhere. It was like all these down logs everywhere, and just like impossible to walk through, like thick ass forest. So this is camp, backpacking camp. Yeah, just impossible to like. This is like, imagine walking like straight through there, and this is how it is everywhere. Impossible. So the backpacking camp is our first stop, and then we ended up camping up here, and this behind this tree line somewhere. I think this, at this point, we were shook. I was shook from the rapids, not the rapids, but we were like, oh, let's stop. We're just chilling. See, it's not in order, but look how calm it is. It's so nice. Yeah, again, Velvia with the blues, and then just like the vastness of this. So I think we're actually we're heading here. I think so. I think this is where we were going, but we had to hug the coast, and we're heading here. Loaded. Yeah, I like this shot, and the other one that's just like it. This one's good too. This one's okay. Damn, nasals. 10:05. Alright, I'll go like 10 more minutes. So yeah, it's just more of the trip. I'm just laying on the floor. This happens with the first photo. The first photo of the roll. This one. I like that one. You can tell look how a little bit how more choppy it is compared to that early morning like flatness. And it's the area we're at, man. Wind comes from that side and we're just on the bad side. Look at that, 2-foot waves. I don't know. There you go. Bad camera settings. Accidental double exposure. No flash. It's when he went on a walk by himself. He got in trouble. The morning, look how foggy it is. So yeah, I like this photo. Unlike that first one I was talking about with the line, the leading line that was way wrong. Not a leading line. So this one, bad example of a leading line, because it's kind of not leading you, to the subject, even though they're kind of off here. But I guess they're supposed to be here. It's supposed to be kind of symmetrical. But this leading line, oh man, am I getting sick or what? This leading line kind of leads you across the image and then back over, so you're kind of scanning the whole image, and that's what makes good photos, using up the space and being able to see a scene from foreground to middle ground to background. And then because it's such a different light to dark contrast that splits the photo, it's like a very defined line across the whole image, and it's like some it's not necessarily Bauhaus type shit, but Bauhaus is more like design stuff. They don't really do landscape photography. But anyways, but yeah, that Bauhaus type line that just straight diagonal through the image, kind of wrecking the composition, but what? Anyways, more random stuff. This was okay. It's very blurry, but I think it'll work on Instagram. Try to take a picture at night. Didn't go so well. Picture early in the morning. Didn't go so well. So this is 7 a.m. maybe even earlier. We got up at 4 to leave. Crazy. So this is another example of a bad leading line. It didn't really do that diagonal thing. It kind of makes this area weird. It's not split right. The composition's bad. I don't know where to put this. was too early in the morning and too dark to shoot. So see this, when I use flash, it kind of like balanced it out, and like this is how really dark it is, and then this is like how the camera like adjusted to make it like the normal brightness. Like it'll shoot to make it the normal brightness. But then this is how it really looked. This leading line, how about that? Let's talk about leading lines. This episode is all about leading lines. You got these lines. It's okay, I think. I don't know, I would crop maybe this side a little bit, but it kind of works. It's not focused right, but foreground stuff here, middle ground, background kind of goes that way. It's okay. It's not good. It's not as good as the other one. I like the other one better. So yeah, when you shoot flash, it's reading this, or it's like making this the normal exposure, which reads this, which is the normal exposure, or which balances, it balances out. But yeah, this was a good moment to me. Look on his face. Like, oh shit, man. It's fucking cold and we about to go out there. They should take your jacket off. There is a little bit of urgency leaving in the morning. It's kind of captured here a little bit. I got a gang of photos of this. It's, oh man, it's one of those things Eric Kim's talking about. Oh, work the scene. Man, what else? This sucks. I can't do this all nasally. Oh, okay, 5 minutes. But kind of breeze through. This is all from the backpacking part. You know, like I was talking about earlier, just spending that time with my uncle, and like this photo, right? There's so much explaining and like re-explaining to him, my uncle, his dad. So much explaining to him, and like make sure it gets through. Like, oh, you gotta do this, man. You gotta, and like, I'll definitely do another podcast when I get those audio files downloaded and all that stuff, and like talk more about that part of the trip. But yeah, this is just all the film stuff. But yeah, this definitely was one part of the trip, and just like, you know, just interactions with him, with my cousin and my uncle, and just us, and just like living together for 2 weeks. It's another shot at the same damn thing out. So basically, I don't know, it sucks. It sucks that I shot like over 5 shots of the same thing. Just like earlier when I said I shot 6 shots at the gas station. It's a waste. I gotta work on lowering my numbers, but I think during this trip I was pretty hyped up, trying to take photos. Kind of gets good here when we're all the way out there and like the sun starts to come out a little bit more. Going into the fog. So this is how you're supposed to shoot when the sun's like, that example earlier of the town and the backlit. Basically kind of this silhouette stuff. That's when it works. When you could backlight something bright and then this all dark. This is when it works. Silhouette. After the trip, yeah, this was a good day. Nice, relaxed. We got back from, was just shower and hanging out. Oh, look at that. What's that, a moose? Or an elk? I don't know. Yeah, we fished all morning too from the boat. That was fun. Yeah, I think for sure a problem with the point and shoot camera, not enough settings, and you end up with a lot of blurry shots in low light situations. Kind of live with it. So I think it's okay. So we go from backpacking to Montana. There's kind of like a whole day gap. I didn't shoot the camera. Like nothing at the bridge. Yeah, never mind. Also, so while I can't explain, or I don't want to explain it too much. I'm very tired. It's 10:17. I'll go sleep. 3 minutes. All right. So with I don't know how to explain it. So the triangle, or like CMYK, RGB, and all that stuff, like colors are all that color wheel shit. But cause if one color is saturated, other colors turn out weird, and so basically, when you shoot portraits of people, they turn out red. You can see her skin tones are like way red, and that's not normal. That's because there's a lot of blues that get saturated, and like I guess the I don't know, color mixture and process ends up saturating other tones as well. So that's one problem with shooting portraits with Velvia, is skin tones don't come out the best. But then also during scanning, there is kind of I run it through a little bit of an auto color correct, so that kind of messes with things. More small towns. Yeah, this morning was cool. Glacier. Again, I was just like finding people. Straight up just asked them, hey, let me take your photo. Never seen them again in my life. I didn't even get their information. It's a nice photo of them. When we saw the grizzly bear. Indian. Yeah, so this was kind of the end. I think I was on my last roll, and I was like, all right, I got X amount of shots. I'm just going to photograph people. And that's kind of what I was trying to do with the last roll of film. And this is when Carlos said, oh, let me see your camera. He got himself. But, man, I took this one. She had a big old booty. Yeah, I don't even remember what she looked like. But this girl was hot. uh, yeah, people. I was so right when I said, I was like, hey, could I take your photo? I really like all this pink you're wearing. And then I saw, and then she did this, and I just, was just ready and snapped it. And then I took that other one. Why is it not in order? Then I took this one when she was ready. So yeah, you definitely got to be quick on it. Like just know, like the moment you like talk to someone, like it's gonna be quick that their expression and reaction is gonna be good. Cause like the difference between that and yeah, I mean this is like out of focus, but still her expression's like way better. This ain't that bad, but you know. But yeah, you see the difference. This is more clear. She's like posing, like, oh, yeah. And then Katrina. Her friends call her Hurricane. I think it's kind of messed up. But it's also, okay, I get it. But, her Instagram is KK Hurricane. Katrina, you get it? Anyways. Oh man, I started that documentary, the Spike Lee one. It's pretty intense, and I'm only in like the first like hour. I think it's like 4 hours. But yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Towards the end, I was just asking to photograph people. This one didn't come out good for some reason. It was too dark in there. The focus was not set right. Yeah, I like this one the best just because this little space right here. This little white space. It's covered up. Her smile's nice. Yeah. It was cool. I talked to her for a little while, and she was in the same situation as us. She was up at Glacier a few days before and kind of got evacuated, and then like she gave in like us and like cut the trip short, like go home a day or two early. And so yeah, she did that. And yeah, I mean, we were glad we went to Glacier. We saw grizzly bear. We saw some of the park, a lot of the park, and it was still like really amazing when we were just driving through there for the first time. We were like, oh, fucking Glacier. Oh, I didn't realize I wasn't looking at it was on the other screen. I was looking at myself. But yeah, Glacier was worth it, and it turned out she was doing the same thing. But yeah, it became about with the last of the film. It became about trying to talk to people and like photograph them. Like yeah, this camera just doesn't do well indoors in low light. I think that's one complaint. Really, the other version they have would do way better because you could select the f-stop at least, and I would shoot 2.8. But we'll see. Maybe I'll sell the one I got and try to get a new one. Oregon. I like the structure here. This design. What do they call it? Yeah, it just didn't do well. It just didn't do well, this camera, in low light situations. This one too, man. I thought this was going to be a good photo, but it came out a little bit too blurry for me. Yes, black. Alright, that's it. Oh my gosh. So that was just the film. The film, Velvia, one camera, just the whole trip with that camera. Uh, there's tons of digital stuff somewhere that I could go through. Um, there's there's just a lot more stuff to go through, but I think overall I like the camera because how pocketable it was, and like, bringing it, places, bringing it just walking with it around, like even on these like small trails, like lugging around the big camera sucked, so like just having the small camera with me was cool. And cuz it kind of limited my photography, and like, kept that down, because I was only shooting film and didn't have that much to that much film to shoot on. It kind of helped me just enjoy, just more the outdoors, and like not worry about shooting so much, and like getting shots, and just kind of like, get what I get, kind of enjoy it, and take a few shots. And I think the times I like really tried, or like thought I saw something really good and kept trying to shoot it, like the camera just wasn't good enough to like capture. It was just, like I said, it was just the point and shoot. And so do I think if I shot this with my better camera, it would come out any better? Maybe not. Digitally? Well, if I seen this based on one shot digitally, I could adjust it better. So I think I would have came out. Well, it would have took me a few shots, but I would have came out with a more properly exposed photo. And but yeah, so it would have took me a few shots to come out with a good one, a perfect one. And this one, it took a few shots and to basically to just have bad photo. It took a few shots to have no good shots. But yeah, just having it around, and like not being like a huge camera is I think the big deal with this camera. Even just shooting here, like she probably didn't. I think she knew. Maybe she knew. She looked like she didn't know. But yeah, it's funny because it turns from the start of like kind of documenting the trip and like finding like landscape stuff to just people. To mostly people. Yeah, I think I like photographing people. Alright. Oh my gosh. 10:29. That's probably like 40 minutes. So next, there's not really any camping trips to go over next. This kind of ends the series. So I guess I'll say it here. So I was basically, it basically started with me writing. Maybe I'll bring it up. Is it still around? So this whole camping podcast thing started with me dun dun dun. Damn, I haven't seen these in a while. What? That's a nice photo. I took this. I like that. But this whole thing started with me writing on this Tumblr blog, And yeah, I don't really write, uh, so that's why I started doing these talking things. But it's funny because I don't really talk either, so it doesn't make sense. But it all started with this, with me writing. Uh, Basically, I would write. Uh, I would write like this little thing about the trip each day. Day one, Thursday. But so it started with this, and then it ended up. So it started with me writing, and then yeah, because it takes me a while to write. I just started doing these talking things, but probably takes me about the same amount of time talking, because it's probably like an hour already. Uh, but yeah, so I basically started with the Ray Lakes loop, and then if you go through all the videos, it kind of ends at the Ray Lakes loop. So I didn't do a video for Ray Lakes loop because I wrote about it. So yeah, go read this. This is like the first thing I did. So it kind of, now I'm caught up to Yellowstone, and that's everything. And I think it's mostly done. I think the only thing left I could do is like go back and just read these, read them aloud. I think that'd be okay. That might be cool. I just read them, but then there's also a bunch of other photos I didn't really show. Somewhere on here, a lot of photos from this trip, and then look, the same theme. Starting off as a nature, and then just people. Like I just want to shoot people. It's too funny. But yeah, go check this out. I'll try to post another thing on this with I could try to read some. Day 2, Friday. Let's just test it real fast. The furthest hike, the highest climb, and the longest day. I haven't read this in a minute. Start of the day was good. I got packed early and ate breakfast without having to cook anything. Small details like not having to cook really saves time. Left camp at 9 a.m., but I plan to stop at the bridge to fish. From the bridge the night before, there were about 5 fish I spotted swimming around. Making sacrifices. This 30-minute fishing session took time off the trail. Trying to balance fishing, hiking can change the schedule a lot. I would love to fish spots. I'd love to fish spots for hours, but having to just be a hiker really cuts down on the recreational time. True. Leaving around 9:30 to start the hike, I felt rested, but a few miles in, there was moderate climbing. My legs started to ache already. Oh, why do I still remember that? Oh, my legs just start to feel sore right now. It was like I felt I wasn't warmed up. The plan was to take it easy in the beginning because I knew it was a long day. It was also the most critical day, knowing that if I made the destination at the end of the day, there was no turning back, because I'd be more than halfway. So I can't turn back. It doesn't make sense. It'd be farther if I turned back. At around the 2-hour mark, I wanted to take off my pack and break. There just so happened to be the creek nearby. I think it was a river, not a creek. Yeah, change that. I fished for about 15 minutes. Man, I almost fell in right there. I remember. I didn't write that. I didn't say that or write that about that. There was one time in the beginning when I was up on a cliff looking down at the river and my glasses almost fell off. I was like, Then this time, when I was pulling the fish in, like I got close to the edge and like slipped a little bit. I was like, with the fish and a damn pole. there just happened to be a river nearby. I fished again for about 15 minutes. I caught, I think, two fish here. It was tight. Now being 45 minutes delayed from just fishing and some time used on making photos. I was over an hour behind trail. Oh, I took some really bad photos. Alright, let's see if I can find this shit. 1 second. It wouldn't be this one, it would be... Sorry, I'm looking through the photos. I can't go through these on the thing because there's some naked people. Why is there only that one scan? One second. So there's 500 photos, but no Ray Lakes loop. Oh, it's not. Jeez, I got 1,000 scans. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is interesting, huh? Here's another example of shooting Velvia and skin tones not really turning out right. But what I was getting to was the Ray Lakes loop. Bad photos from the second day. Oh damn. Check out Jenna. I like these ones. Uh-oh, titties. So this was it. This was fishing from the bridge that morning, that little passage I just read. And this was the time I spent taking these photos, which fucking sucked. Ugh, it's too bright. So this is far as fuck away, and I'm trying to meter it from all the way far away. And so this shot should have been way darker. Like if this was like almost black. Maybe not that dark, but you know, really dark, and this was darker. Yeah, it still would have been. It would have been okay. It would have been better if it was just that and dark and like. Ugh. But these were the photos after fishing at this bridge. I shot these crappy photos. How much time I wasted taking these crappy photos. I could have. That night, man. That night I had dinner like at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And this is like one of the only known photos. So yeah, I definitely got to go through these and like show all these other photos I took on the trip. That's kind of never been shown. Where was I? now being 45-minute delayed. The first 6 miles, there's a 1,500 feet elevation climb. It was hard to note. It was hard. It was hard, but not that. It was hard, but not that noticeable. Being deep down in the canyon, you can hardly notice visually the ground and elevation covered. Wow, that's a really bad sentence. Those two sentences sucked. Or that's just one sentence. Basically, I mean, hopefully you understand that. But yeah, like walking up it was hard, but you don't notice the elevation change visually because you're in a canyon. That's kind of what that says in some weird way. Once I looked behind me, I could see the perspective of what I was climbing out of. Taking the time to look back and see where I came from was a big motivator for me. But always moving forward. No shit, that's stupid. Take that out. To be honest, relating it to life experiences and seeing how far I came from and how far things have taken me made me appreciate the journey of life so far, and the hike, of course. Stupid motherfucker. So fucking. And the hike, of course. Alright, take that part out. That's so stupid. But this was the view, and that's where I came from, down there. That shows. That was like a good moment to just see, like, cause this whole part was fucking hard, and you know I'm not like looking back and turning back. I'm just like walking forward and like schlepping, like and finally so fucking tired, and you like look back and like, oh fuck, I came from down there. Oh shit. So I think, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's fucking funny. I'll read this last part, or should I read this last part? But alright, that'll be the next one. I'll get on that sometime soon. And yeah, I don't know, I feel more motivated to do photo stuff just because, yeah, I don't have a photography job. So yeah, that kind of, you know, it's kind of separating like my time, like limiting, like, because I have less time to work on photography because I have work. It's making me like focus more on photo shit I gotta do, so hopefully that works out good. But what was this? This was a film, Yellowstone. So I'm gonna do the digital Yellowstone soon, and that's like a few thousand photos. Yeah, that's next, and then I'll do this. That seemed fine. Reading it and showing the rest of those Ray Lakes photos. Alright, whatever.